Yes, if you need some inspiration this Tuesday, we do encourage you to watch Rob's story. Dean did an excellent job on that, and we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to get to that in a few moments, but first, good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Brandon Hudson.
And I'm Dina Centofanti. We are continuing to follow this. It's a news alert from Detroit's east side. That's where investigators believe scrappers may have set off a building explosion.
Yes, this happened around 2:30 this morning at a former credit union on Gratiot near Mac. The front of the building heavily damaged. The force of the explosion sent debris flying into the street. Fox News' Charlie Langton reports from the scene that police believe 3 people broke into the building and attempted to steal copper pipes and a gas water heater. The problem is they forgot to turn off the gas, which likely caused this blast. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. Right now, police are searching for at least 3 suspects.
Now, of course, the other big story we're following, the ongoing UAW strike against the Big Three. UAW President Shawn Fain setting a new deadline.
If progress is not made, he says that more workers will join the picket line by the end of this week. Fox News' Robin Murdoch is live this morning with the latest. Robin, you've been following this story for several days now. Where do we stand, and when could we see more workers walking out?
Well, this deadline, Brandon and Dina, is just days away. In fact, by Friday, if we do not see some major movement with these talks, we could see more workers walking the line, which will affect everyone's bottom line.
I have been clear with the Big Three every step of the way, and I'm going to be crystal clear again right now. If we don't make serious progress by noon on Friday, September 22nd, more locals will be called on to stand up and join the strike.
A new day in Detroit and a new deadline for Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. On Monday night, UAW President Shawn Fain once again took to social media to update the masses on a historic strike currently involving some 13,000 workers at 3 facilities, including Michigan Assembly in Wayne.
It is nerve-wracking because we don't know. We don't know when it's going to end. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, so we're all just kind of in a I don't know position right now.
Sarah Walker is among the workers now walking the picket line for the 5th day after contract negotiations stalled and targeted sites were asked to stand up and strike late last week. They're fighting for better pay, better benefits, and job protection as automakers shift to electric vehicles. They want their fair share, citing the Big Three's $21 billion in profits in the first half of this year alone.
Hopefully they get this thing under control and we can get back to some normalcy here and, get people back to some regular life.
Some 5,600 Canadian auto workers represented by Unifor seeking similar demands could also strike like their colleagues at Ford. Their contract is set to expire at 11:59 last night, but talks will continue for another 24 hours due to what's described as a substantive offer by Ford. Headway being made there and hopefully stateside soon. Time is ticking.
Keep organizing rallies, keep organizing red shirt days, keep up the energy, and keep showing the companies that you are ready to join the strike if necessary. This is our generation's defining moment, so be ready to stand up.
So again, that new deadline is noon on Friday, September 22nd, the new deadline for auto workers or automakers. Now, according to the UAW President Shawn Fain, he says that auto workers, they have waited long enough. They are not going to wait anymore, and they are not going to mess around anymore. So, of course, we'll keep you posted on what happens with these talks going forward. For now, we are live along Detroit's riverfront. I'm Robin Murdoch. Back to you.
So in a way, Shawn Fain is kind of calling a shot here. We don't know who will walk off the job, but we do know when. And why was it September 22nd? Why was that the date that was picked?
You know, Brandon, everything it seems with UAW President Shawn Fain has been pretty strategic. So there are a couple of reasons why. Friday will mark more than a week since the first walkout, since the first auto workers did walk off the job. So that is one of the reasons. The other, it also marks more than a week that the Big Three has failed to reach a deal that is good by auto workers. So that is the reason for Friday. And of course, the world will be watching whether this deadline is met. Back to you.
Yeah, most definitely, Robin. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dina.
Meanwhile, another company warning it might have to shut down because of the strike. CIE Nucor has set a date of October 2nd for layoffs at its locations in Shiawassee and Lapeer counties. Nearly 300 workers would be impacted. The firm makes parts for engines, gearboxes, and transmissions. And it is not just local auto workers on strike. Workers at Blue Cross Blue Shield also hitting the picket lines. About 1,100 employees represented by the UAW walked off the job last week. The main sticking points include outsourcing of jobs and what the workers call stagnant wages. Rocked by scandal, Michigan State University announces plans to fire embattled head football coach Mel Tucker.
So far, the university suspended Tucker without pay following allegations of sexual harassment. Fox News' Dave Spencer went to Lansing. He spoke with students as MSU takes steps to terminate his contract.
Students on the campus of MSU are processing the latest news surrounding Mel Tucker in real time.
It was kind of surprising, but, I've seen it coming.
I still can't believe it happened, honestly.
On Monday, Michigan State University drafted a 5-page letter addressed to Mel Tucker. The subject of the letter, termination of his contract, citing the cause for termination as, quote, the coach engages in any conduct which constitutes moral turpitude or which, in the university's reasonable judgment, would tend to bring public disrespect, contempt, or ridicule upon the university, end quote. On September 10th, public accusations surfaced that Coach Tucker is accused of sexual harassment. In Tucker's termination letter, the accuser is referred to as the vendor because in 2021, she was hired to speak with the football team for, quote, the sole purpose of providing a sexual misconduct prevention educational program. The alleged phone sex harassment happened in November of 2022. The letter goes on to say, at this point, the university has amassed a body of undisputed evidence of misconduct that warrants termination for cause. Notably, the following facts are undisputed and justify termination for cause.
I feel like that's a fairly appropriate punishment for that.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it's definitely warranted being fired. It's a very terrible thing to do.
I figured they would wait until the case hearing, but I'm not surprised that he got fired.
In a statement, MSU Athletic Director Alan Haller wrote, quote, this action does not conclude the ongoing Office for Civil Rights case. That rigorous process will continue, end quote. Tucker is in the third year of a $95 million 10-year contract, and if he is fired for cause, the school would not have to pay him for what's remaining on his deal.
That was Dave Spencer reporting. So, what happens now? The school's athletic director says that Tucker has 7 days to respond with reasons why he should not be fired. So far, there's been no comment from Tucker or his attorney.
Other news now, Detroit police responding to video of what some are calling a rough arrest.
As officers, they take a 34-year-old man into custody Sunday near State Fair and Gratiot on Detroit's east side.
Hey, man. Hey, he was getting his own car. Let him go. Let him go. Hey, hit him if you want to. They already tried. Let him go. Let him go.
So in the video, the man pulls back as officers put him in handcuffs. Then several onlookers jump on an officer before his backup arrives. The man's family claims it was a misunderstanding, saying that officers thought he was breaking into a vehicle that was actually his. The DPD released a statement reading in part, quote, the matter has been referred to the Professional Standards Bureau for further investigation. And the accidental shooting of a teenager leads to an emotionally charged scene and shuts down a Dearborn Heights street in the middle of the day. This happened near Constance and Grayfield Streets, just east of Telegraph. Investigators say a 14-year-old was handling a gun and accidentally shot his friend, who is critically hurt. We're told a fight then broke out near the scene. One person was arrested. This morning, the investigation is ongoing.